Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's ICB webinar. I can see a few of you still coming in, so I'll just give it a couple of minutes. Whilst people are still coming in, I will just go through some house rules. This webinar is being recorded, so don't worry if you have to pop to the loo or grab yourself a tea or coffee. We will send you a link to the recording after the webinar. And also, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to use the Q&A box, which is at the bottom of your screen. We're really excited to have FreeAgent re-accredited. Obviously, everybody knows that we've had a long-standing partnership with FreeAgent, but this time, there's so many new features, there's so many new things that bookkeepers are doing as part of their service. And so we decided along with FreeAgent to go through the review process again. For anybody that's new to ICB or doesn't know how we work with our software partners. I'm Sobi, I'm head of partnerships, and my role is to work with software providers to bring the best tools and resources to you. And we do that usually by giving them a bit of a test at the beginning. So once when a product wants to promote themselves to the bookkeeping community, we get one of you lovely bookkeepers to do a review of the product and basically get onboarded, go through all the features, go through the customer support processes, and then we have a template and it's all written out, what the key features are, what's the best things about the software, what do you want to see in the development roadmap, and what kind of clients it's best suited for. So I'm really excited today to go through the FreeAgent review. This time round, it has been completed by our one and only LUCA Award winning, as we can see, Penny Allard. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Sophie. So brilliant to be here.
And we've also got the wonderful Jem Malik from FreeAgent, who's going to also be talking to us about the new features that FreeAgent have got recently. So hi, Jem.
Hello, lovely to see you.
You too. So why don't you kick it off, Jem? Let us know, for anyone who's new to FreeAgent, who are you? What's your core philosophy? What's FreeAgent about?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi everyone, I'm Jem. I'm actually a junior product manager now here at FreeAgent. So my background's been in account management and partnerships up until very recently when I've taken on a secondment in our practice growth team. So part of my role now is deciding what features we're going to build to help practices feel like it's easier to make FreeAgent a choice for them for their small business clients. And yeah, a bit about our kind of philosophy here at FreeAgent. We're really made for the kind of micro end of the market. So traditionally made for those kind of freelancers and sole traders, and we wanted to make accounting as easy as possible for them, perhaps even like a little bit fun to do their bookkeeping ideally. So that was what our product was made in mind with. And we kind of built out a feature set in line with that. As of more recently, we've tried to build out those features a little bit better to give us parity with our competitors in the market. And like I say, just make FreeAgent a better choice for slightly larger businesses. So still talking about smaller businesses, but maybe like small to medium now, I would say. FreeAgent do hold the title, we were just talking about this, for Friendliest Software of the Year. With ICB, and Penny gave me a really good fact. Actually, I think it came from Kirsty St. John, but the only year that we didn't win it, we lost to Centa, which, do you know what I said? You can't be mad at that because Centa's a really lovely product as well. But yeah, we really take that to heart, being the friendliest software. We like to say that we have the best in class support, really high touch account management process, and yeah, hopefully a really approachable team that we've got here and a software that makes it easy enough to for anyone to use. So hopefully that covers a little bit about us.
Yeah, thanks, Jem. And yeah, as Kirsty has said, it's well-deserved friendliest. And actually, fun fact for anyone who doesn't know, Elizabeth Carter, who's our head of marketing, was actually the head of marketing at Centre when it won friendliest. So I think we've got a
And
connection there.
yeah,
So
I was actually on their table as Elizabeth's guest as well that year at the Lucas. So
there you go.
Yeah,
Love
we're
it.
in
so
good
I
company for
yeah.
sure.
So Penny, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your practice, what kind of clients you serve. Yeah, give us a bit of an intro.
So, Wild Bookkeeping was formed in 2021, and prior to that, I was a sole trader. It's very much a part-time business to fit around the children until the point at which I got divorced, and everyone was, "Are you going to get a proper job?" And it's, "Well, I've got a proper job. I just need more clients." So I grew the business, rebranded, became Wild Bookkeeping Limited, and since then, I've won 3 LUCA Awards. So I've won the social media, new practice, large practice. Last year, I was shortlisted for Accounting Excellence Sole Practitioner of the Year. And then we heard yesterday we've been shortlisted for Accounting Excellence ESG. So, which I'm really, really over the moon with. And it's brilliant. There's 8 firms in that category. And originally, there weren't many firms going for that at all. So, seeing more and more people striving to work towards sustainability, corporate social responsibility, it's so important that, and it's great that that topic is getting a bigger and bigger voice and a better platform. So we serve a variety of clients. We've got large clients with multi-million pound turnover, right the way down to small, tiny sole traders. And we've actually gone to even smaller clients following the integration with FreeAgent and Zen and Connect last year. We launched a brand new service specifically aimed at those really tiny clients and those who are concerned with MTD coming in. So we've got a complete range of clients based all over the country. We're a team of 5 based in Manchester, Oxford, Southend, Thorpe Bay, and recently Sri Lanka as well. So we now have a team member, Yoshin, who's in Sri Lanka.
Oh,
So yeah, we're clients all over the country and team members all over the world.
a truly global organization.
Yes.
Congratulations, Penny. And while we're speaking to you, what made you what brought you to FreeAgent? What was appealing to you, and why did you think it was the right fit for your clients?
I was finding I was getting more and more smaller businesses coming to me. And when you look at the fee and you're trying to quote for them, 50% of the fee is made up of software, or over 50% of the fee is made up with software. And it's really hard. And I've got a real passion for helping small business owners. My son had a craft business for a couple of years before he went to uni. And I got to know lots of very small micro businesses during that time. And I think it's really important that businesses get the right support at the beginning and they get into good habits. And trying to keep things in notebooks or spreadsheets, it's okay. But I always say to people, it's a bit like it's the difference between having sort of doing a flat jigsaw puzzle and doing a Rubik's Cube. If you've got that software in place, you've got a really strong, firm 3D model to do things. So if we can get every single business in the UK onto software, which I know is the aim of MTD, and it's controversial, but I really think it's a huge opportunity and it will be a huge benefit to businesses in the UK. And FreeAgent, obviously, if they can open a metal bank account, which is free, they get FreeAgent for free. It's a no-brainer. So really, if I'm honest, I started using FreeAgent because of the price point and I could get my really small clients onto it and there was no objection. There's no reason for them to drop carrier bags of receipts at my doorstep anymore. But I've actually found, that it's got fantastic feature sets. My clients love it. It's enabled me to offer new services. So it's been a really good fit for my practice. So we have got a few clients on QuickBooks, but we tend to go, it's either FreeAgent or Xero, depending on the size of the clients and their setup and, and what they need from the product.
Amazing. And Jem, I guess FreeAgent, you've always kind of had that affiliation with NatWest. But what do you think why do you think FreeAgent is particularly apart from the price, obviously, why do you think it's particularly well suited to the sole traders and the smaller businesses?
Yeah, so I suppose like I said before, that's who we were really made for. So that's who we had in mind when we created our entire product. And like Penny says, obviously we were bought by NatWest in, I believe it was 2015. So it's been around for a while. So that price point is really nice. But apart from that, I would say as well, I think the feature set is really good and it's really clear, easy to use. The language we use is very simple for small business owners, you know, money in, money out instead of like credit and debit. I always get mixed up with those.
Yeah.
I'm on a call with bookkeepers. But yeah, the language we use is really simple, but also we recognize that people do need I would say like coaching or support. So we really champion the role of bookkeepers and accountants. And although the software is kind of pretty simple for anyone to do bookkeeping themselves, that's a relationship that we always really support. And as well as having plenty of resources and support available through us, that allows us to be able to make sure that people are using their software in the correct way. So that's why I would say we're such a good fit for them. And even when you're thinking about like the first thing I used to say when I was an account manager at FreeAgent to accountants and bookkeepers onboarding their clients is get them set up with a bank feed and get them to download the mobile app. Those are the first things you need to do. The only first two things. And not like none of those things cost any more. The only add-on we have is for our receipt capture, but we also have integrations with other softwares. So when you're getting all those features included from day one without having to pay any extra, like Penny says, you might be able to even get the software for free if you're banking with NatWest or Metal, then that makes it a lot easier to digest. You know, I'm not needing to make sense of all of my bookkeeping yet. I'm not needing to, you know, do some really complicated setup process. Just download the mobile app and get a bank feed set up. And then as the bookkeeper, you can go in and reconsent their bank feed as well on their behalf at FreeAgent, which is just makes that whole workflow a little bit easier, more digestible for small businesses. And like Penny says, it allows you guys to be able to offer better advice the more in touch they are with their finances, which I actually think a lot of small business owners in the UK, they do want to have more financial autonomy, but it feels quite scary. So making that less scary is what we do really well.
And you mentioned earlier that you're kind of moving into being able to serve kind of larger practices as well. I know we're going to have a little screen share from you where you'll take us through the features, but as a kind of overview, what kind of things are you introducing to help that slightly larger market?
Yeah, so we're probably in the first year of maybe like a 5-year strategy. So I wouldn't say that tomorrow we're perfect for really large businesses or anything, but we want to start making those steps so that people don't outgrow FreeAgent quite so easily. So Penny said that she tends to offer FreeAgent and Xero. Like we're in very good company there, you know. Xero is a great piece of software, and it's certainly a great fit for those larger businesses. What we want to do is encourage people to be able to grow and not have to leave FreeAgent when it gets to a certain point. So something that we weren't very good at before was like departmental kind of tracking. That's functionality we're building out at the moment. Our integrations as well. I've just moved from the team that managed our integration partnerships, and FreeAgent never really used to have any. And it was a problem. It just never got very much love in our team. So looking to build those out more and more, as well as just increased reporting capabilities. We're not saying that you won't ever need another software to go alongside FreeAgent, and certainly I'm of the view that you should offer at least 2 accounting packages to your clients. It's good to have a mix and at least know where your limits are when it comes to software. But hopefully making it a little bit more self-serve, a little bit easier within FreeAgent to not have to look elsewhere for additional features. So I'll take us through some of them in a little bit, but yeah, those kind of outside of the basic requirements is, I would say, what we're trying to build on.
And it's actually so refreshing to hear you say, you know, you don't need to just use one software. I know there are a lot of practices that are 100% one software or 100% another software, but we hear from our bookkeepers that the majority of them are using different software depending on what's best for their clients. And that's what's so amazing for bookkeepers, is that you're so flexible and you're adaptable to learning about the new software and making sure that the client's your number one priority.
Yeah,
Which is great.
and I was going to say
I was going to say, I think
sorry.
I was going to say, as I've grown, one of the things I found is, whereas when it was just me, I was actually, you do need to niche down into a few, a smaller collection of software, just because you're every time you take a team member on, you're trying to train them on numerous different softwares. But equally, it's good to have a package that you can offer different clients, and you don't, I think you're limiting who you can offer your services to if you niche it down too far. But having departments coming, one of the biggest reasons we don't put clients on FreeAgent is that lack of departments.
Yeah.
And also getting the purchase invoices in, but I know there's things coming in line for that as well. So
Yeah, and I think it's a good point. Like, when it comes to niching down, I personally am of the view that it's not beneficial to offer every software, no matter what someone asks for, but appreciate that a lot of bookkeepers out there, they go into the business for themselves, often to have a more flexible lifestyle, which we absolutely want to support. So sometimes there's a need to do that in order to get clients on board. But I do think when you sit back and look at how much of a software you use, what you might find is that you're only using like 30 or 40% of any given software, because realistically, it's hard to know everything about it if you're having to keep your focus on many of them. So, yeah, and like I say, I mean, we're always in good company. There's always really good softwares out there that we encourage people to use, and that will be a good alternative to FreeAgent in a lot of instances. But making FreeAgent a more clear choice in the examples that we're good for is what we want to achieve, essentially.
Absolutely. And Penny, you did our review this time round. As you were going through, it kind of makes you look back on how you've been using the product, what features you've been focusing on, or what features you haven't been using. What would you say are your personal top 3 features of FreeAgent as a bookkeeper? Is that a hard question?
So yeah. So for my clients tell me it's really easy to use. They really enjoy that. And actually, when you onboard clients on, there's a series of automatic emails that go out from FreeAgent telling them to download the mobile app or connect the bank feed. So that makes it really easy for me. When you're onboarding clients, I think it's one of the hardest times. They've seen your social media, they've had that discovery call, you've wowed them in your proposal meeting, and then suddenly everything stops because you're waiting for them to give you ID, you're trying to get AML sorted, you're trying to get the software. So actually, FreeAgents really makes it really easy to onboard clients, and there's emails that will go out to clients to tell them how to do things and set things up. So that takes pressure off of us. So that's a really great thing. The onboarding are really friendly. If there's something that you're stuck on or that you can't do, there's always somebody there to help. So you don't feel you're on your own with FreeAgent. I think their support is, probably, the best out there of all the different software packages. Clients find it really easy to use. There's a few bits on the bank that they do find a bit confusing. So money paid to user and that sort of thing. But once you've explained it to them, they get it. And actually, it's very easy to use. They just go into one place. Everything's on a drop down. They can just upload their receipts, straight away using the mobile app. So yeah, it's really straightforward, very easy for clients to use. And it's very easy for me to review. I've got a number of clients on FreeAgent who do their own bookkeeping, which is something I always said I would never do because we are a bookkeeping firm. But for those really tiny clients where they just can't afford it, but they still need that support, actually, we've developed now a package with MTD in mind where we're using Zen and Connect to monitor the quality of their bookkeeping. So excited when they announced FreeAgent and Zen and Connect, integration. And it's very easy to go through that bank feed. It's very easy to filter and search for things, look at it by month, look for what's approved. Very easy to see anything that doesn't have a receipt attached to it, where a client's just gone in and coded something, as they shouldn't have done. So yeah, it's very pleasing on the eye, very easy to see what's there, and clients find it very simple and easy to understand. They don't get lost in it.
Amazing. Jem, I was wondering if you'd be able to give us a bit of a screen share and show us what the new features are.
I would love to. So let me just share up. Here we go. Hoping you can all see that. Sorry, ignore all my tabs at the top. It's always so embarrassing when someone when you open up, when you open up all your tabs and you realize you've got like hundreds and hundreds of tabs open. Sorry, can you guys still see that?
Yes.
Cool. So this is your FreeAgent practice dashboard. Some of you will be familiar with this already, but this is just going to switch into our client view. So what I've been told actually recently is that people love the overview page, which is so interesting. It's something I never usually focus on, but apparently it's well loved, which is nice to see. So just giving you an overview of your cash flow, your invoice timeline, etc. Your little mini P&L there. We've also got our tax timeline. None of this is new, we've had it around for a long time, but just in case anyone has never seen it before. So the first thing I'm going to show you is our management reports. So this is very much a first iteration, I should caveat, of our management reports, but we haven't offered them before, so it's just kind of bringing a set of reports into a pack for you that you can export. We are working on version 2 of this right now, which is really great. So that's going to build out some functionality in terms of things like settings, as well as export options. So as you can see, so I've got a little notice at the top here letting me know that there's unexplained bank transactions, so the data isn't complete. We're just going to ignore that for now, just to show you the basic functionality. We've got our export report up here, and at the moment we export to PDF, but we are building in spreadsheets as well, so that's going to come hopefully in the next kind of month or two, is what we're building on. And then I'll just draw your attention to my notes as well, so you can see that we can add notes for the full report, so they appear just after the cover page. And I'll just say ICB webinar. And then, like I say, in the report, when I export this, it'll come after the front cover. So pretty straightforward and simple, to be honest with you. We've got the executive summary as well as profit and loss, balance sheet, age debtors and age creditors there as well. You can also do comparisons, so you don't have to do a comparative view. You could also just do a yearly view, for example, or if you wanted to do comparative, then you can compare, for example, 2024, 2025 to the current year. And it's just going to bring in all of those together into one management report pack. The way that we see this working is that it'd be great if you can get your clients on a call to go through this with them, but if not, then you can export it and give it to them separately. Another thing that we're building in is we're looking at a little bit more customization of these reports. So for example, you're able to drill into these figures here if you want to on the left-hand side, but if you maybe want to go and click on certain numbers and go and find out where those transactions have come from, then you'll be able to potentially do that, as well as add a little bit of style to the reports. So things like fonts, logos, different colors, etc. So like I say, it's first iteration, but I feel like one of the big steps that we've made to becoming better for more practices and more businesses. We hear that a lot of times, just to make these reports, a lot of accountants and bookkeepers do charge it as an added extra, in which case, you know, hopefully this allows you to do that without having to pay for another software or kind of go and do it all manually if you want to. So the next,
I believe when I was looking at the demo version of this before we released the report, it's one of the comments I said where people charge this as a separate thing.
Yeah.
I know FreeAgent saying they were looking at potentially limiting this report so that if you haven't got full access to FreeAgent, because you can set what level of access clients have got, which is really good because you can onboard a client and not let them file their own self-assessment tax return. And so I believe potentially with management reports, that's going to be restricted so the client can't just run this themselves, so you can still do it as a chargeable.
yeah, exactly. So that's one of the things we're looking at is like what's the pattern of behavior that people use this for. That's part of the reason why we work so iteratively, is because we want to find out, you know, this is the functionality, but how do you as an accountant or bookkeeper want to use this? And then like we can make changes accordingly. So that's a little bit about kind of the way.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's important is clients often they look at a report and they think that's done, and they don't appreciate that actually there's a lot of adjustments that we need to do in the background on prepayments, accruals, depreciation entries, or whatever else it is. And so having that restricted, I think, will be brilliant, because then we can say this isn't released until we know we've done those adjustments in the background.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And the lucky thing is for you, Penny, I'm now the product manager for the team
I know.
reports. So so you've got a diary.
My big long, you've already got my big long shopping list, Jem.
I do my best to work on it, I promise. The other point about this is just that the information can be a bit dry. It's a little bit difficult maybe for a client to understand. So we're considering ways that we can make that more dynamic, make it a little bit easier to understand, maybe including some visualizations in those reports. So yeah, if you are a FreeAgent client and you want to go ahead and have a look at those, we are keen to hear feedback. It's part of what we're looking at the moment. So the second thing I want to cover is find and fix. So as Penny said, find and fix is not available to everyone. It is a level 7 access, which means everything except for tax returns. So you can set your clients to have as little access as you want, which is basically view only. They can submit timesheets, or you can have them go in and do all of their find and fixing. You can have them submit tax returns if you want to, but that is entirely up to you as the accountant or bookkeeper, depending on how you set it on their dashboard. So find and fix is a very high level one that not everyone will be able to do, and I just want to point that out before I show you what the capabilities are. You've maybe seen something similar in other softwares, and it's a place where we were kind of falling down a little bit, again, not quite keeping up with others. So we're just going to go in and, for example, maybe I want to have a look at all of the accommodation and meals, because I know that some of my bank transactions, I know that some of my bank transactions have been categorized to accommodation meals, but actually they were something else. So let's say this breakfast meeting and this bed and breakfast and these Tesco sandwiches. For some reason, I want to change them. So we can just go to proceed to fix items, and I'm going to change them to, I don't know, staff entertaining. Certainly not pretending that I am a bookkeeper, because I can't imagine why anyone would ever do this. But yeah, that's going to work away there, and then we're going to be able to change those in bulk. So again, a high level access is needed to be able to do this, but as you can see, it's then gone and successfully changed them. So we can go back and change them back if we want to, but where it's getting that information from is from the bank account. So if we pop into the bank account, then you're going to be able to see this has been around for a very long time, but as your transactions come in, based on what others categorize those similar transactions in the software as, and also what you have typically done in the past, that's going to decide where we categorize these into. And we have a very high success rate with that. I think it's over 70% are explained correctly. So for example, let's see, Guest House Birmingham. The software knows that you've done that typically as accommodation and meals in the past, and that others do that transactions from this place in the same way. So it's going to start automatically guessing what you're wanting to categorize it at. But then you can use find and fix to change it, and you can also change things like tax rates as well.
Find and fix is really good, where you've got clients doing their own bookkeeping and they think they've got something right, and because of the AI, the more a client does it wrong, the more the system thinks that that's right. So actually being able to go in and review, and it's those things like, it is the cup of coffee and the breakfast things that they always put down and they think chargeable, actually their entertainment costs or staff entertainment. Being able to just review that in one place, it's been a real game changer having this feature available. So
exactly. And I mean, even me, I have to do expenses here at FreeAgent, and the amount of times I'm sure that I do things wrong is unbelievable. But so we know it's easily done. So just gives you a little bit more autonomy on that. And you can view the history as well if you want to see who made changes and what they changed, so that you can go and drill into it and amend it if you need to. The last thing I'm going to show today is I'm just going to return to the dashboard. So we have our practice portal, and as you can see, there's learning and accreditation here. I'm not going to show that today, but it's Penny, you're familiar with this. We have,
yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, we have kind of exams. I mean, exam makes it sound quite formal. We have like tests to test your knowledge and make sure that you're able to confidently talk about the software. We are on hand to support, so we can guide you through those sessions if you want to. But what I wanted to show was just our practice portal. Can I just check that's moved over to this screen as well? Yes, cool. So on our practice portal, there is lots of content. So you can see information on find and fix here. Reason I point it out is we don't actually have loads of people that visit our practice portal, but the information on here is so beneficial. when you're wanting to get started, it takes you through kind of step by step on what to do. I believe that there's even things like email templates on here where you can send them to your clients, which is really great. Advice on adding people to your dashboard. And then we've got all of our historical webinars are here as well. So it's a really nice place to go and have a look and just see if there's any information that you can help skill up. So all of our webinars, for example, are CPD accredited. There's a hub just for MTD if you really want to find out more about that. And you can even do things like book a consultation with us as well, just about MTD. So that is a little bit about us. Hopefully that's given you enough. Not all of it was brand new information, but hopefully some interesting bits in there as well.
Thanks, Jem. And also I saw the astronaut image. Did FreeAgent submit a tax return from space?
Yeah, we did an MTD submission from space before one had probably even been done on the ground, I believe. Yeah, which was really cool actually. We're always looking for like new fun ways to market. So yeah, we did one from space. We do actually also, just on a sustainability point, I know it's really important to you, Penny. It's also important to me. And there is more information about how we did it like as sustainably as possible.
Yeah. I was just going to say it was done sustainably as well, which was because when I first saw that, I thought, oh, hang on. No, it was really very cleverly done.
Also, I guess it like kind of speaks to the way that our staff think as well, because that question also came up in our town hall, and it was something that had already been thought of, which I think is really great. But yeah, we submitted one from space, and I've not shown our MTD solution today, but we are MTD ready. I mean, we were ready like the first time round. We were really
Yeah, you were.
so
You've been talking about it for ages, haven't you? FreeAgent have. So
yeah. And our team are really dedicated to making it as easy as possible to manage MTD, and hopefully like even find some value adds in there for practices of where MTD can give them an opportunity to maybe take on more advisory. We know it's not going to be loved by everyone, but it's unfortunately for some going to be essential. So so yeah, we want to make it as friendly as possible to be able to access.
And I know you mentioned that you know, clients that have a NatWest or a Metal account get a free FreeAgent account. Are you able to talk us through the pricing packages kind of outside of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it's been a while since I was an account manager, so hopefully I get all of this right. But yeah, so yeah, like you say, FreeAgent is free for anyone who banks with NatWest or Metal or RBS. They get the software completely for free. The only thing that you would pay extra for is that receipt capture add-on. We call it Smart Capture. But of course, not needed for absolutely everyone, or maybe use another software for it anyway. So the way
You can also switch, as I say, you can also switch Smart Capture on for a month and then turn it off again as well, which I have done. If I've had a client where we needed loads of trivial benefit receipts and things for them approaching the end of the tax year, and there was going to be more than the 10 that they get for free. So we just switched it on for a month, processed everything, and then switched it off again. So that's a really good option.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, and like Penny says, you do get some for free anyway. So but we're not tying you into like a year, and you don't we never sell licenses like in bulk, so we would never say to you come and buy 100 of our licenses at this reduced price. We only report on quarterly active users, so we don't count any licenses that aren't in use, so we would never sell them. So but yeah, in terms of our pricing, so for accountants and bookkeepers, if you sign up as a partner of ours, then you automatically get a discount on your clients' licenses. I want to say they start at about 30% off list price, which is around £20 for sole traders, and up to about £30 for limited company. So you do get a discount as the agent essentially, but the more clients you add on, the better your discounts get. So yeah, it's kind of cascading discount situation.
Right. And Penny, when you heard about these new features and you mentioned that you've got a shopping list for Gem, what would you say are kind of one new feature or one new improvement that you think would be like the best improvement they've, or have they already done it? The find and fix
No,
sound.
so the one that I'm waiting for is, if I'm honest, is the integration with Apron, which I'm told is happening.
It is.
Yeah, the uploading receipts is probably the biggest for me, the biggest bugbear on FreeAgent. It works, and Smart Capture is good, but if clients upload something to files and not to Smart Capture, you can't just automatically switch something over. You've got to download it and re-upload it. And when you're posting things in Smart Capture, the document isn't as easy to see. You click in, and if the text is small or it's a little bit fuzzy, you end up having to download and open that on another screen. And you post one invoice and then you've got to go back into the other screen. So it's good, and the OCR is very accurate. And I love the way that it reads the supplier and will automatically set up a new supplier, and it picks the full company name and that sort of thing. So that's very, very good. But it's slow. So if I've got a client, you get your 10 free Smart Capture ones each month. And I would say, provided you've got a client that's only doing like 10 or 20 receipts a month, FreeAgent's going to be great. Because you're not trying to process too many receipts. It works, but it's just a bit slow and clunky compared with other input methods. For me, the advantage with having Apron and FreeAgent integrating is we're using Apron with our Xero clients, and having everybody in a dashboard in one place. It's the sort of job, if you're on hold to HMRC, you think, let's just go into Apron, see what we can post and whiz through. And my FreeAgent clients get neglected because I don't know if they've uploaded receipts. I've got to go into that client, have a look, oh, they've uploaded some receipts. And to go through every single FreeAgent client to see who has or hasn't uploaded receipts takes me time. So having that integrated so we can just get all of that receipt capture in one place is something I'm really eagerly waiting for. But I'm assured it's happening. It's coming.
It's coming.
We were hoping it would be happening last year, and as it happens when you're working with third parties, things always do get pushed back a little bit. However, I did just get a message from their team yesterday, so we're outlining how that release will look, hoping for it later on this year. But yeah, it definitely is coming. And you know what? It's a good point because like we're really good at what we do. And yeah, our smart capture is really great in my opinion. However, it's not our bread and butter, so there will always be preferences for other softwares. So yeah, I think it's a good point, and it makes us push
It
to
works.
integrations and partnerships.
Yeah, it works really well. Where I've got the really small clients who come to us and they want MTD support, actually Smart Capture for them is brilliant because they're not logging into another software. It's all built in, and that's something where other softwares fall down, you know. So Smart Capture is great. So for the clients it's aimed at, where you've got that small freelancer that doesn't have a huge amount of receipts and things coming through, it's perfect because they can upload things in Smart Capture. It's easy for them to process it themselves because it's guessing the categories, it's reading the OCR. The level of accuracy is going to be really good. And then I can just go through and just double check that they've coded things to the right place using Zen and Connect as well, hand in hand. So that's really, really easy. So for clients doing their own bookkeeping where we're supervising, Smart Capture is brilliant.
Yeah.
But what puts me off, if I've got clients coming to me where we're doing the bookkeeping and they've got a high volume of transactions at the moment, that's the sticking point where I'm thinking, okay, financially it might be better because they're a very small client, but actually it's going to be harder for us to track. Whereas if I put them onto Xero with Apron, it's going to be easier for them to fall into our workflows. So
But
I think
at
it's
the same time, I think, FreeAgent are going to be integrating with Apron. There's also a big roadmap for dealing with these bigger practices. So hopefully,
yeah,
that will all be, it's all going to be.
exactly. So it's all moving in the right direction. And the thing that I love with FreeAgent is you do talk to us a lot. So, I get regular calls from Stephen, my account manager. How's it all going? What's the frustrations? And so many softwares, you tell them what the frustrations are and nothing ever happens and you don't get listened to. And I think one of the really good things with FreeAgent is you work really well with your partners. You listen to what we're going to say. If I feed something back to Stephen, I know that the message has gone up the chain because I'll see Jem later on. She'll say, oh, yeah, Stephen mentioned that you want this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
I
think
just want to say congratulations to Jem for her new role, which is junior product manager. So you are going to have a lot more input in the development of the product. Is there any secrets you can share with us, or anything exciting that we can look forward to? Obviously, we've already spilled the beans about Apron. But is there anything else that we can look forward to? in terms?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, when I was going through management reports, that's very much a first iteration, and there's a lot of work going into building that out a little bit more. And we are working on MTD heavily at the moment, and there's some work going on inside our internal teams to make sure that we improve and automate as much as possible in terms of the onboarding of new partners onto FreeAgent, and try and make that as easy as possible for our teams, because ahead of MTD we've actually got a lot of leads coming in, which is lovely. But from my side as well, like I said about the departments, so something we're working on at the moment is adding tracking groups. So being able to track certain maybe departments, locations, whatever that looks like. And we're still kind of in the discovery phase because it is quite a big piece of work, but that is what my team's working on at the moment, which I'm very excited about. That's one of the main things that, I mean, Penny, you said it yourself, but
Yeah.
one of the main things that kind of sets other softwares apart from us. So we're excited to be working.
And and, and that
And
will
that,
be a game. We work with a lot of CICs locally. We've got a bit of a niche with local CICs, and often they're very small organisations. They don't have any budget. They haven't really got a lot of money to spend, and what money they've got, they want to spend on the good causes they're working for. And I would love to get them all onto FreeAgent. And some of them I do, if they don't have too many restricted funds, if, depending on the nature of what they're doing, if they've only got one or two restricted funds, well, we can do that and maybe track it differently, or, use projects in free, because there's projects in FreeAgent, so we can use projects. But it doesn't sit nicely if we've got a local CIC and they've got lots of tracking categories they need. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
And I mean, it's again about like, that's something I know, Penny, you said very nicely, that we really do listen to what our partners say, but our team is based in Scotland, so I'm remote, I'm in London, but team's based in Scotland, we're only in the UK, and that's all we really focus on. So it does allow us to listen to our partners and deliver quite closely, which is really nice. And that's something that we've heard plenty of, is that tracking categories would really allow us to be able to report more easily on certain areas of the business. So yeah, we really want to support it. And like I say, that's what my team are working on at the moment. So you'll hear from me soon.
yeah, watch this space. And speaking of partners, is there, can you tell us a bit more about your partner program and what that entails, what the benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our partner program gives you essentially like a dedicated account manager who's we're not there to make you add more licenses to FreeAgent. I hope Penny would agree that we don't call up and say,
mm,
"Can you add 10 more this week? Can you add whatever?" That's not our job. Our job is there to educate and help you consult with your clients on how best to use FreeAgent, and where the benefits are there for your practice. So that's one thing that comes with our partner program. We also actually have a Facebook community, which is run by ProNation. So that is available to our partners. They host like a monthly call
they're
to
really good, actually.
yeah, they are really good. And they also just
Yeah.
give people like a forum to be able to discuss kind of anything in FreeAgent where they're needing a little bit of help. It's not a sales space. We very rarely post on it. If we do, it's usually an early products announcement for that community. And then also obviously you get all of those benefits that I showed you in the practice portal, so the exclusive content and things like that. And of course, when you're a partner of ours, you get access to those discounts on the licenses for your clients, which is really lovely. We also have roadshows that we host. Twice a year we do our roadshows, and just gives you a chance to be in a room with some FreeAgent members of staff, chat to us, let us know what your concerns are, or what your hopes are for the future. So yeah, our partner program is, I would say it's pretty comprehensive and allows you not only on a technical side to manage all your clients in one place, but from a more kind of creative side, also gives you all those benefits like additional resources and learning opportunities. But I think probably the best part about it is those account managers for me.
Mm,
Just really having someone that you can go to who will pick up the phone, who's not going to be difficult to get a hold of. And
yeah. I,
it's
I was going to say the thing I like is on my practice portal, there's actually my account manager is named, and I can click that link to get straight through to Stephen. Whereas so many other softwares, you might not speak to the account manager for ages, or they're always chatting. I mean, I've had Stephen's been my account manager for ages now. But other softwares, you get an email every 6 months because your account manager's changed. It's hard to build up a relationship. You don't know who they are, and if you need to speak to them, you end up going into your emails and doing a search for, whatever account manager, hoping that you can find the email that was sent to you 6 months that tells you who they were. Whereas with FreeAgent, I can log into my partner portal, click it, and I can go straight through either by email or by telephone as well. You can speak to people on the phone. So,
Yeah.
the support is really good, and I had no pressure when I first signed up. I think for a long, long time, I just had one, maybe two clients on FreeAgent, and there was no pressure to, extend that at any point. So,
Yeah, and I would say as well that I mean we're very approachable, very friendly, but we don't actually turn over staff in our sales team very frequently. So which probably says a bit about the company I work for. I really like working at FreeAgent. They've got a great ethos. And we don't kind of gatekeep any of that support depending on what level you're at with FreeAgent or how many licenses you have. I just wonder, I know that I have a poll to to launch. I'm wondering whether now might be a good time to just say if you would like to find out more about becoming a partner, then I believe Jasmine behind the scenes is gonna release a little poll. So if you would like to do that, then please let us know and we will get in touch. But like Penny says, it's very much a no obligation call. To just see whether you would like for us to be one of your new softwares that you offer.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think it's amazing that you know you've had the same account manager for so long, Penny, because yeah, I hear it all the time that people don't know who their current account manager is with other software because it is a high turnover area in terms of for any company. But
Yeah.
really nice, and I think that attributes your friendliest software provider status, because I think that's a really key part of providing a service for
Yeah.
bookkeepers. So
Yeah.
well,
And actually, I was doing a workshop for local craft businesses, and I didn't really have any clients on FreeAgent at that time, maybe one or two. But I knew that for the audience I was delivering the workshop to, FreeAgent would be a really good match for them. And so I just contacted Stephen and I said, look, I know that I don't know, not even I was on whatever the bottom tier partnership was, and you've got to be the next tier up to get merch and that sort of thing. But I phoned up, explained what I was doing, and lo and behold, in the post came a whole box of pens and notebooks and everything else for me to use at that workshop. And interestingly, I've got somebody that I presented at that workshop for, it's a couple of years ago now, and they've actually contacted me now to say that their business is growing, they want to do more on FreeAgent, and they've just booked in a power hour for me to go through and review and make sure they're using the software correctly, and to see what they do next. So, having that support early on has helped me to grow my FreeAgent client base as well. So
well, FreeAgent helps you grow as well, don't they?
that's it.
So I'm very conscious of the time, and I can see there's a couple of questions in the Q&A. Jem, are you happy to answer?
I sure am. I've answered ones that came in through the Q&A box, but I'm just having a look at the chat box as well. So Kirsty St. John is a license, for MTD. Yeah, a little MTD myth busting to finish off the session. Love that. A license needed for self-employed income as well as rental income. Exactly, yes. So you've got it right. So say I am a landlord and I'm also a small business owner. I need a license for my small business and another license for my properties. So you can get both of those in FreeAgent. We do have a landlord specific license. The price point there is a little bit lower than the others. I believe it's about £10 a month. And of course, you're entitled to those discounts. Where you can add any number of properties. I think we've got it as up to 100. Probably if you had more than 6 to 8, you'd be looking at a specialist software, maybe running those as a limited company. But yes, so you need a separate license for each source of income that you've got. You can, for example, have like your landlords on the landlord license on FreeAgent, and then you might have the small business on zero. Using your national insurance number, when you come to submit your MTD, all of that information will be pulled in from HMRC, so it will all link up. So if you're using more than one software, then don't worry about that. It's all going to work.
Yeah. I've got clients on the landlord license. It works really, really well. So they love it. So it's very easy to track what's going on which property.
Yeah, and you know what? It's quite a good mindset shift, I would say, because a lot of individuals don't think of their properties as a business, but that's what MTD is trying to change a little bit. So I do think it's quite nice to get that mindset shift. And of course, a benefit of having the NatWest and Metal partnership is you can encourage those clients to get a business bank account. where most people would probably be putting it through personal. So it's quite a nice kind of motivation there. And Kirsty, I know you've just asked about the non-VAT registered clients. Why does it continue to show that? I'm going to be completely honest here. Don't know the answer to that. However, you're probably confident that I will go away and get the answer to it, and I'll let you know, which I will do. I'll do that today.
Yeah,
It's a little bit confusing.
it is confusing. So you put a client in saying that they're not VAT registered, but the VAT codes still come up.
Yeah.
And then they just get ignored because there's no VAT registration on it. But I know when I first started doing it, I had a VAT and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, they're not VAT registered. Then you go and look and you realise actually it's still posting the gross amount through, so it's posting it correctly, but it looks as though there's VAT,
Yeah.
which can be confusing.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange, and I don't know why we've made that choice. It might be something to do with restriction on the engineering side, but I'll find out for sure. And then a couple of more have come in from the Q&A. So, is FreeAgent good for charities? So, FreeAgent is not typically the best license for charities. I'll be completely honest. Usually, if people would ask me when I was account manager, can I put charities on this? I would say, do you know what? Zero is probably a bit better. When we have that departmental tracking, I believe that will make things a little bit easier for charities. But certainly where we're at the moment, I'm not afraid to um, own up to our limitations. FreeAgent's not a perfect solution for charities. We do also have like a universal license that people use either if they're outside of the UK or sometimes they use it for charities. But if I'm completely honest, you'd probably be better looking at other solutions for charities who are built more specifically for that. And that's why they're so good at it. And if a couple share property, how does that work in FreeAgent? So yeah, you can absolutely have split ownership of a property. We released that when we released our landlord licenses. So you can have two people owning on the one license that has plenty of properties and do the split between them on there. So not sure if I can show how it works, but essentially we do cater for it. So if you are interested, then it'd be worth just getting a little demo of the software and having a little look.
Thank you so much, Jem. I think we're coming to the hour, so just final words from the both of you. Penny, what advice would you give to a bookkeeper who's kind of wondering whether to introduce FreeAgent to their client?
I haven't about. I was quite nervous about the idea of introducing it to start with. And you always think, is free really free, and is it any good? But actually, my clients love it. They really enjoy using it. I have no hesitation. The only thing I say, if you've got a larger client who's potentially going to go to FRS 102 or something, 102 or something like that, then maybe put them on 0 to start with. So have those conversations with your client. If they're going to need departments and tracking categories at the moment, that's not going to work. If they've got a high volume of invoices coming in, then you may need to use auto entry or Dext or one of those. So it depends what platform you're using for that. So that could be a barrier to going on to FreeAgent. But again, that's hopefully going to be resolved soon with Apron coming on board. But yeah, I think it's a really good solution. It means that there's absolutely no excuse for having clients not using cloud software and digital records. It makes it so much easier to monitor that client base. And so we've actually started getting, clients where we'll teach them to do a power hour on FreeAgent, use that in Connect to then check that every quarter. So you really can take micro clients. So it's a great opportunity to expand your business, and you get really good support from FreeAgent. So yeah, it's not right for every client, but for those that are, I think it gives you opportunities to take clients on that you maybe wouldn't have done before.
Thank you, Penny. And final words from yourself, Jem. Any gems for our bookkeepers who are interested in joining the FreeAgent
Yeah, I
community?
would say my thoughts on this are the same. It goes for any software, just keep learning. The return on investment isn't necessarily always going to be like how much you spend on it versus how much you make. But I do feel like your own learning has a huge amount of value, especially when we come up to things like MTD or just changing regulations in general. So keep learning, keep asking questions. Bookkeepers are so curious and so willing to learn. We want to hear all your questions, and I definitely feel yeah, that's what we're there for. Use us, be supported by software companies. And yeah, that's about it. I suppose there's lots of resources out there, so make sure you use them.
Thank you very much, Jem. And before I go, I just want to say we are really excited that FreeAgent will be joining us at the Bookkeeper Summit this year. It's on the 17th of November in person at the Queen Elizabeth II Conference Centre in London. If you haven't booked your ticket, why not? Go ahead, book your ticket. You might see Jem there. She might be on the stage. She might be there in person. I don't know in terms of her new role,
Oh,
whether
I'm very much hoping when I moved to this new role, I said, please let me keep doing things with bookkeepers. I love this community so much. So yeah, if you see me out and about, please come and say hi. I love meeting
yeah,
you guys.
definitely. And again, you know, I'm sure they'll put themselves forward for the LUCA Awards. So if you are a current user, when the voting opens, please do cast your vote and let them continue their reign as friendliest software, or see for yourself. If you're not a FreeAgent user yet, go ahead and join, and then you'll have an opinion to add to the LUCA voting when it opens in September or October. Okay, I'm waffling on now. It must be because I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. So thank you very much, Penny and Jem. You've definitely given me more insight into FreeAgent, a lot of things that I didn't know before. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining and for your questions. As always, feel free to reach out to us if you have any more questions. But yeah, we'll hope to see you at the next one. We'll be sending around the recording and a link to the review that Penny wrote after this, so do look out for that in your inboxes. And have a wonderful Thursday afternoon and the rest of your week. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.